Hey, watch out.
Oh? I shall deal with this one.
We had ribs last night.
Worse than Ross.
Right.
What for, Captain? Cleaving into the brisket.
Yeah?
Oh?
Lava will be all sick.
make a dent.
Yes?
Ahoy. See a nice neat tomb.
Yes? They'll fall by my hand.
Aye. Like flogging a figurehead.
What do you mean?
As you wish.
Yeah? Ah!
Stay behind me. Look who it is.
Yeah? Well, hey. Tell me what's on your mind. Yeah, it's best we... Yeah? I'm all ears. Tell me what's on your mind. They're there in my head, and sometimes... Sure thing, what?
Oh? Thank you again for maintaining my story in front of Vanessa and the others. I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative. I realized there could be nothing between us. But it was nice to have a friend all the same. Ah, the steward told me about your incident at Cadnua. Aethys took a piece of your soul. I suppose it's only natural to lose a few memories along with it. You and I met in Gilded Vale, shortly after your arrival in Deerwood and in the midst of my run-in with the locals. If that bampot was chafing his own mother's daughter, worth no ill of mine for noticing.
I like people who don't mince their words. Can't say I approve of the topic, though.
Just so. I was with you as you sought Theos and answers regarding your awakening. And you helped me come to terms with mine.
You hearken this? So many years and still he's cold as a crack in his teeth.
I've learned to appreciate Isilmir's decisiveness, if not her way with words. Back to our journey across the Deerwood. We pursued Theos and discovered the leaden key at the center of Widewind's legacy. And, more importantly, a millennia-old conspiracy to conceal the true origins of the gods. So do I. After we parted, I set out to destroy the leaden key. It's controlled us for too long. I wanted to free Kith from it. So for 5 years, I've been tracking down leaden key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret, trying to undo them. The task has been more difficult than I anticipated. I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make, or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours. I haven't. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of undoing his work would be tracking down the leaden key's members and operations. Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia, a run-down backwater of a place.
Aye, right home like it was.
Centuries ago, the leaden key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition.
You got an eye for charming little towns, I'll say that much.
At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt. Yes, but the specifics depended on whom you asked. Some thought it would ward off scam, or bring Berth's favor on the village, or Gon's blessing to their crops. The village priest administered the practice. Grim old fellow. Reminded me of Theos.
Wicked old bonebag, 'tis what the lad means.
He was a tyrant. I was certain that if the villagers were free of his influence, they'd be free from the bloodletting too. So I arranged for him to have an accident. The old man died, and the villagers were terrified. They were convinced his death was an ill omen. They blamed it, and every other mishap that befell them, on their lack of faith. So they began bloodletting every week, turning on their neighbors for giving too little. Instead of a handful dying each year, a few perished every week. I had to do something, didn't I? I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better. I suppose so. Thank you. It's a relief to share this burden. You've given me a lot to think about. Ah, that. I'm looking for an old leaden key sect. I've found several references, but I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything. You know me too well. All the same, I need to gather my thoughts.
If you told me a few years ago that I'd end up following you on another crazy errand, I'd have said you were out of your mind. Not because I got anything against you, more that trouble seems to come looking for you wherever you go. Yet, here we are again, probably on our way to die. Well, you already did, but me, I mean. Well, real nice of you to share. Someday I'll have to get you a gift. And wouldn't you know it, this time is shaping up to be crazier than the last one. But I gotta say, I appreciate how you've handled things. Times like these, staying decent's not as easy as it sounds. Thought you were weird at first, of course, but you've surprised me. Well, you were having a silent chat with the dead dwarf lady when I met you. Takes a special type to overlook something like that. I've been meaning to ask, though. How is it you never seem to lose your way through all this? What is it tells you you're on the right path? That's an interesting way of looking at it. Don't know if it's right, but I bet there's less worrying. When I was a boy, things were simpler. Aethys was more like a character we read about in church. Yeah, I guess it was. Well, most stories had him helping folks or making the world work as it should. You pray to him, he might help you too. There was no cost to it. No confusion about his will or followers taken into extremes. Following Aethys was right. Had no reason to question. Do you think there's any way that following him could still be the right path? After all we've seen? I guess we'll see what he has in store soon enough. If we make it that far. Anyway, I didn't mean for this to get depressing. I think this was just a long way of saying, I appreciate the way you've guided things. Makes me feel like I'm doing some good, going with you. Something I can do? What's gnawing you?
Happy to oblige. Yeah. Tell me what's on your mind. They're there in my... And sometimes... Yeah, it's been...
How may I help?
Yes? One would hardly imagine that a colossus made of glowing Ardra could be so hard to find. But then I suppose the gods wouldn't have chosen you if the task were easy. Well, they seem largely competent. I would feel better about that were they not run by profiteers and animancers. Well, Governor Clario seemed honest and well-intentioned. So one wonders why he was stationed at such an out-of-the-way post. I'd heard Deadfire had a pirate problem, but I had no idea how large it was. Or how fashionable. Still, the only thing more dangerous than a unified pirate nation is one at war with itself. I worry about who will be caught in their crossfire. As a matter of fact, I did. I saw my mother for the first time in years. It was. As a matter of fact, I saw my mother for the first time in years. She was well. She'd been living with her Thane for quite some time. I don't think she'd been to see my father since I left. I used to blame her for her long absences, for not intervening directly with my father. I realized that she was torn between two demanding roles, and two demanding men. I used to resent her for failing to protect me, but I understand now that her absence is what allowed me to grow. Intentionally or not, she gave me the space I needed to learn a degree of independence. Thank you. It felt good to resolve that much. My father was steward to an earl in the Seathwood. My mother entered into a hamnig with a thane when I was very young. I think they must have loved each other once, but I recall little evidence of it. It's one thing to forgive my mother for her absence. Quite another to excuse him. It was. It's been a while since I've been able to speak candidly with anyone, especially about the Leaden Key. It's unexpectedly liberating. Yes? Yes?
Captain. Ahoy, Captain. Truth be told, Ferrante half expects us to get our asses blown out of the water at Fort Deadlight. Fortunately for you, I have this bad habit of beating the odds. Of course, I do that by way of good old traditional chicanery. And the most important part of any hornswoggle? Solid planning. Well, that and surviving. Valian made originally. Piled them stones up a few centuries back, but gave it up when the fishmen wouldn't leave them be. Hard to defend against Wilder crawling up out of your crappers. Captain Aldiz claimed it a few years back. Fucking filthy from bow to stern, and she had her lads and lasses cleaning fish shit out of the floorboards for months. A couple of them thought it might be better sailing elsewhere and left in the night. Aldiz tracked them down quick as you like, took their heads, and fixed them into little lanterns for the front gate. Called them Fort Deadlight's Deadlights. They say she ain't had a deserter since. Tad cruel for my taste, but I admit to admiring the wordplay. Funny thing about it being a fort means it ain't a boat. Means it don't have to worry about the way the cannons are storing honking big balls. Guns they got crowning that castle put a hole in your poop deck before you've sighted land. Fort itself be floor to ceiling rum-sodden fools, so that be going for us. But Aldi's keeps the crew on the walls sharp and sober. One blast of their horns and Deadlight's locked up tight as an endearing mugger-night. We'll stay that way too, till any unfamiliar ships have been shot to shit and shot again. She's sharp as shit, that one. Tongue, mind, and ears alike. Sailed out of Deerwood or Adir one. Knows her knots, and how to crew a ship that won't turn sour. But words ring out among the Principe, more than you'd think for new blood. Part of that's a fierce support of freedom, from slavers, from the empires, from the Juana's caste system even. The rest a lenient hand. Step out of line and Ferrante's got your old crew up for lashes. Aldiz though, she's let's say there's a reason she attracts limp-cocked nut twists like Benwith. Can't say I much approve of a lack of regard for our traditions, but can't say I don't share her vexations with Ferrante and the old garden either. Shit, Captain. Buy a lad a drink before you go rooting through his unmentionables. Let's leave it enough for now to say I think there be a course to be charted betwixt anarchy and tyranny. I did say contacts, didn't I? Contact would be more accurate, in the singular. A lass by the name of Ciri. Been running the same circles for years, doldrums and fair winds. We're never family, but never on the wrong ends of arms neither. Might have shaken the sheets a few months back.
Are you saying your helpful contact is actually your ex-lover?
Regardless of how she feels about me, there's no love lost betwixt her and Benwith, that's for damn certain. Ugh, random? What do you take me for, Captain? Well, I can't say as you're entirely wrong. Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack. But if not cracking, what are nuts for? Smart play for crashing any party involves scavenging yourself up an invite, and then dressing to impress. Aye, Captain, from stem to stern. Looking the part in this case means hoisting colours identifying us as Principe. Don't have to tell you how dangerous such a bit of fabric can be if the wrong person catches you flying it. Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack, but if not cracking, what are nuts for? Yeah, if you insist on the straightforward approach, you could always load the old with powder and balls and hope the walls of Deadlight give before you roll. Here's hoping you've practiced your breaststroke, savvy? If you breach the walls, you still got the guards to attend to, adding to that a mess of pirates in multitudinous states of insobriety. And probably dress.
Well, if you're looking for a challenge, maybe we just get a catapult and send you over the wall. Saves repairing the ship again.
That ain't the worst idea I've heard in the last few minutes, Cap. Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack, but if not cracking, what are nuts for? Might be there's a way to sneak inside. Bet we can find a shady spot to tie up a skiff under the veil of night. Then up the walls and over, quick as you please. Sussing out a place to land without being spotted ourselves will require Helia's own eyes. Or a spyglass. You've got a spyglass, I hope. Then let me recommend you remedy yourself there, Captain. A good spyglass be like a good lover. Shows you the bits you'd have missed otherwise.
Guess I've never had a good, spyglass.
Sure, used to. Then I made the mistake of lending it to Ferrante. Apparently forgot it weren't his. Showed him the S I carved into it and he turned around and told me it stood for spyglass. There's an important lesson to be learned there. You take something to see, you hold grip on it real tight. I'm all ears, Captain. Well, you be asking me for a plan. Frankly, I were curious to witness how the famed Watcher of Cad Nua would penetrate the impenetrable. But since you asked, just give me a tick. Vast, I might have pulled a plan out of this hairy blue ass after all.
If ever an image inspired confidence.
Way I see it, we have an option or two ranging from the wildly dangerous to the fantastically suicidal. So tell you me, Cap, what be your preferred approach to problems unapproachable? Smart play for crashing any party involves scavenging yourself up an invite, and then dressing to impress. No, Captain, they do not. Looking the part in this case means hoisting colours identifying us as Principe. Don't have to tell you how dangerous such a bit of fabric can be if the wrong person catches you flying it. Aye, Captain. Looking forward to watching you work. Captain. Ahoy, Captain. If I could bend your ear a moment, I'll be aiming to thank you for bringing me aboard. You run a tight shop, and you ain't no terrible person either. It'd be a welcome change from the gentleman of leisure. The Gentleman is only the finest ship among the Principe, and Captain Ferrante our most respected shipmaster. It were 2 honors and a half to be chosen to join his crew. Aye, you ain't wrong. Joining the Gentleman meant leaving the Sorcerer, leaving the only family I've ever known. I never knew no kin till the Sorcerer. They be my Salt family, and to me, that'd be better far than blood. And don't sell yourself a Suole short, Cap, nor me neither. I know an opportunity when I bought it. I'd seen what there were to be seen upon the Gentleman, learn what ropes were to be learned. Methinks a Watcher after a dead god'll thrust me into an whole new set of eye-openings. And believe you me, I do appreciate myself a good thrust. I've a gift for you. This trinket be from one of the first ships I hunted. Malnage would have snatched it had I not found the perfect hiding spot. I know were I to tell you that, you mightn't want it no more. Just a jest, Cap. Nay, I tucked it away in my beard. Didn't wear braids back then, so my hair caught about everything from feathers to fish bones. Malnage shook me down for plunder after each raid, I figured out she wouldn't go nowhere near my beard. Said my face were like a saw-rip fetish. Don't rightly know for sure, Cap. Thought at first she wanted me. Lasses be that way sometimes, treating you worse the more they fancy you. Given she tried to get me killed twice within our first fortnight together, I thought mayhap she were in deepest love. Didn't fancy her in the least, but a man has needs. And I figured at the time that she were as wet as any other lass. Figured I'd give her a whisper about what we might get down to in the old. Her answer were an unequivocal no, made with a sharpness. Might have been the closest I've ever been to death. You be entirely welcome. Now, if you'll pardon me, I've roundabout reached my limit for sentiment. Not to be telling you your business, Cap, but if we don't set sail for Deadlight, Benworth will finish his repairs and pull anchor. Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack. Aye, Captain. Looking forward to watching you work. Not to be telling you, Valin, Captain Aldee's claimed it a few years back. Fucking filthy from bow to stern. And she had her lads and lasses cleaning fish shit out of the floorboards for months. A couple of them thought it might be better sailing elsewhere and left in the night. Aldee's, they say she ain't had a deserter since. Tad cruel for my taste. Later, sure. No hurry here to ship off back to the gentlemen of leisure. Ahoy. Not to be telling you your business. Later, sure.
I feel bad there's not enough for everybody.
Absolutely.
Keep your weather eye open.
Bless your knickers. You're just in time. Another moment more and I would have been dinner. It's a right sorry tale, I'm afraid to say. Our ship, a beautiful ship she was too, ran aground in a storm. Waves so high we couldn't see a damn thing, you understand? Come to discover this here island's about as barren as an ancient lecher's bed. Not a scrap of nothing edible on it. And none of us were especially keen to take our turn about the wheel, so... As the months wore on and no one came looking for us, we started running low on crew and, victuals. I think what few of us were left here at the end might have gone a little nutty. Jordan, red-handed of the Imposter's Lament. Well, formerly of the Imposter's Lament. Something of a lifelong deckhand I am. Picked up cooking in the last few months, too. Meat's my speciality, on account of the, well, you know, the business here, with the cannibalism. My wrists thank you mightily. Say, you got a ship? Couldn't get hit without one, right? You by chance have any spots open for an old dwarf like me? I might not look it, but I'm a deft hand with the rigging. Can even cook some. I owe you one, Captain. A death like this, I'm not sure I'll ever be able to repay you. You like stew? I got a great recipe. Flavor's real different, like nothing you ever tasted. I'll make it for you. You know, in thanks.